94XO, it's Moni XO. I'm sitting down with Trixie Le'Ray today, so stay tuned. You're watching 94XO. Okay. What's up?
What's up?
So who is Trixie Le'Ray?
Trixie Le'Ray. Thank you for asking. Trixie Le'Ray is a singer-songwriter, rapper. Not so much singing. Melodic rapper from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been doing this for a decade now. Mostly been songwriting up until, I was shopping some songs a couple of years ago, and these guys from New York hit me up like, okay, kind of put me back in my artist bag because I had kind of, just was like, I kind of want full control. And sometimes when you're an artist, it can feel like I think people look at artists and they're like, oh, I want to be this, but you're kind of like in a child's position because your schedule is made up for you, what you can wear sometimes, depending on, the team that you have around you. A lot of stuff is decided for you. A lot of people, it's a headache to try to own your work. And that's where I'm like, okay, I can't sell my rights to whatever I create. That was always odd to me, but it's common. And I was shocked that it was common. So I'm like, however I can maneuver through creating stuff and doing what I love to do and keeping the ownership, that's how I'm going to do. And that kind of veered towards songwriting. And then I said, like, War Room from New York hit me up, and they was like, oh, we really like these songs. We want to push this single. So now I'm sitting here doing interviews like an artist.
Okay.
Again. Yeah.
Now, how does that go with when you're coming to, like you were talking about, like selling rights and stuff like that? So how did that make you feel, like, emotionally, even, like, first starting out, realizing, like, I want to do this, this, and this, and then them telling you, like, nah, you can't do it like that?
Well, like I said, when I first, like, I've been writing songs and doing that stuff since I was 8, and it didn't really pop off until I started at Lindenwood University, just posting stuff on the internet. Then put out a little mixtape. Then I got a call from a guy named Topher, who happens to be Nelly's best friend. They set me up with the interview with Blue Bowden, the vice president of Derrty Entertainment. Played my mixtape for her. She, to this day, like, Blue is like one of my number one mentors. Would be Nelly, Blue, my manager Sean, and an engineer named Mark Rudd from Atlanta. They were just like, they listened to the mixtape back to back to back, and I was like, okay, they must like me.
Yeah.
I ended up being under Derrty N.T. for like 5-6 years, just kind of being just on the bus, like going city to city, being kind of Nelly's shadow for a minute, which is it's not a bad shadow to be. If you want to be an artist from St. Louis, that's the
right. Everybody loves Nelly.
And longevity, right? He had the game on lock for a decade. I think he was the number 3 best, most Billboard artist of between 2000 and 2010. Like, if you're gonna learn from somebody and you from St. Louis, that's somebody that you might want to be close to. So, I was under Derrty N.T. for about 5 or 6 years, and then ownership. That's when you start
is key.
Yeah, but that was the question. Was like, how did you feel when you learn that you don't have ownership over stuff you create? And I thought that was crazy. And it's not like like Nelly or anything. That's just how the business was. Like, it happened to him. It happened to almost everybody you know. When you sign that deal, I think probably it's becoming more common now, but probably like 90% of people don't know that you're signing like away your publishing. You're signing away the creative control of what you create, which is insane to me, and that never felt right. So every time it would come throughout my career, I think it was about 4 contracts with different companies where I'm just like, dang, this again? Like, I'm going to have to not own my stuff. And sometimes you got to have, it might be some money on the line. I had to say no to a lot of money, had to say no to cars and all that stuff that they try to get you with. But I had already known the story, like, since the 50s with Cadillac, with Etta James, like Cadillac Records, they would give you cars so they could kind of butter you up because there's a lot more money on the line down the road. You might be signing the next 10, 20, 30 years away. And that just felt weird. And I had good lawyers that told me, like, don't sign this, don't sign that. Not a Nelly thing, but just throughout my career.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's got to be a way that I can maintain my life. And like it's being more common now because independent art, like Chance the Rappers, they're talking about like artists keeping their rights, and that's a big thing, owning your masters. Nipsey talked a lot about that. But up until recently, it was super common to not own the rights to the music you create.
And they really make people feel like they're not able to be successful without, signing everything away. So that's, like, I applaud you for that, because like you said, a lot of people, they don't know about that stuff behind the scenes, and a lot of people are more materialistic, and they want the fame and stuff like that, and I can see, like, you don't, like, it comes with it, but you're not really focused on that. You're focused on creating music, you know, to make yourself happy. So yeah, I get it. Like, I'm not no artist or anything, but I understand, like, trying to give your rights away to people.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even say it was just because I'm, like, not materialistic or whatever. It's just I had lawyers that was like, I wouldn't sign this if I were you. Like, that's just, like,
you got to pay the lawyers.
And I'm like, so I would feel drove trying to, if I sign this, and I just had good people in my life and mentors and, legal people that was like, So that kind of pushed me away from the artist part of it, because I'm like, what's the point if I'm like being propped up as this little thing? I'm the last to get paid. All the content is coming from me, mostly me and whoever I have, and my team, my engineers, the producers or whatever, and I don't even have control of it. That was weird to me, and it felt weird. So that pushed me to be a little bit more behind the scenes. I'm just gonna keep writing, because I've done that my entire life. I've been music, like played instruments all my life, all that kind of stuff. So that pushed me towards being more of a, like, I'll just license this, I'll write this song, get paid for that, as long as I keep the rights to it. Like, I'll write for whatever internet rapper, whatever SoundCloud guy, he's gonna pay me $500, $1,000, I'll do that, and then make them sign that to make sure I own everything, and just keep doing that. And I'll do that 15 times, so I can get like 10, 15 grand from that, instead of signing away something for maybe like $30,000, $50,000 and sign away my rights. I'm like, that just made more sense to me. And I had to get into it and just learn that. I don't know how many people have that story, but that's how I've been making money the last decade or so. So, yeah.
I'll say now, for upcoming artists that, may not have, like, the resources that you have had and the experience you've had, and they keep saying, no, I need to do this, I need to do this record label deal and sign everything away. Like, what advice would you give them to kind of...
Every story is so, and it's, like, I can't recommend anything to anybody, because my story is so individually tailored. But I would tell people, listen to your gut, because it really, intuition never lies. Like, especially in the music stuff, you can feel like it's family. Like, people will make you feel like we're family, and they'll treat you like family. They'll put food, they'll give you food, they'll give you money, they'll give you cars, they'll give you clothes, all that, and it'll start to seem like family. And it very much, it may be a family environment, but at the end of the day, it is still a business. So, like I said, there's people I absolute love. I treat like they're my blood relatives, but business. I know your interest in me is to make money off of me. Like, none of this would happen if you weren't interested in the money. So that is kind of like...
Drop those gems, because some people, they don't understand the difference.
Yeah, I mean, because it gets real tricky. Like, we're human, and we thrive off of social capital and emotions, and like, this my brother, this my you know what I mean, like the sis or whatever, but it is about money.
That's it. The person that says sis all the time is the one about the business.
And it can be love, and if there's gonna be love lost over money, then it probably wasn't the best situation for you anyway. You just gotta stick to your center. And that's the advice I would give, is trust your gut. Because a lot of people, I mean, and I'm not saying it's easy, because a lot of people, it's easy to just take the money, and it's easy to just take the cars, because you're going to stunt for some years. But like we see with like Migos, their situation where, like, now they got to, not saying I know anything about that situation, I'm just saying, like, Migos having to sue their label Quality Control and P. We would have all thought they were like a family kind of thing, and they might be, but now people aren't performing because of COVID or whatever, and that money ain't coming in. So now you're gonna notice, like,
Say money has been the foundation of a lot of people.
Exactly. And when money is coming in and you're booked, you're not really paying attention to some of the money that they might be skimming. Not saying that that's the situation with quality control, but it's going to make you pay attention when you're not performing. Because when you're performing, the money is constantly coming in. When that stops, you're going to be like, whoa.
What's going on?
I don't got that income anymore.
Yeah.
And I still might be straight, but I don't got what I had coming in. So it's going to make a lot of people stop and be like, check their books. So I would tell people to keep in mind this is a business, and you got to look out for yourself, because everybody's looking out for yourselves. Like, I've had label situations where it's like, literally, I'm living with people or whatever, but they're going to, like, give you their lawyer, and that was weird, and I didn't even know why it was weird at the time. I just knew, I was like, this is, okay, so how can you be my lawyer and their lawyer? That's weird. And I would sit down with the lawyers and like be like, but I knew it was something was weird about that. Then you go in the game and navigate in the game for a few years and you be like, okay, that's definitely not right.
They're just trying to get you.
And
that's crazy.
And I'm not saying it's like that's the smart thing to do. Like, I would do that too to an artist. Like, I could see why. I'm not gonna say I would do it, because I want everything to be pure, because how stuff just basic
comes around.
It comes around. So when it come back to me, I want it to be good, But I could see why in doing business people would do that. It is beneficial to them, and it could be for years. So.
It's crazy how money rules the world. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, money always comes first.
I mean, it rules in America. We're a capitalistic society. Yep. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So. Now let's spin this a little bit. Let's talk about how do you maintain keeping your unique style, with all the different trends and things changing over the years? Because you say you've been doing this for like a decade now. How do you maintain your own uniqueness but still keeping up with what's, going on?
It's just knowing what you're good at, and then knowing how much, like, I would never do anything that I felt was uncomfortable for me. It could be, okay, so like when I started out, Lil Wayne was the dude, right? So it was like bars. So if you listen to, actually a lot of that stuff had to be archived in order to push the new material, but out of my old 2010, 11, 12, 13 material, it's just kind of Lil Wayne heavy bar. And then over that decade, this last decade, it became more melodic. So I had to start, doing that in a way that felt good to me. Like, I could be more melodic, but it had to come from a pure space. So I just gradually started doing more melodic stuff, and then I learned how to do like bars and be melodic. So I found a good medium for me, and then I got my little, like, people would tell me, like, you kind of have that little country thing. I was like, well, my mentor was the country dude. So he was very essential into teaching me how to structure songs. Like, I remember I would be over there at Derrty Entertainment, and I would record a song. He'll be like, no, put this piece here. Like, and he wouldn't change my lyrics or anything. He'll just be like, no, start with this part. Do that because you want it to feel like, you want it to tell a story. You want it to have like a up and a down kind of thing where in, song structure. And like little ad-libs, he taught me how to stack my harmonies and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's Nelly. Nelly taught me how to do that.
And I'm glad you're able to, or we're able to experience and learn these things, because a lot of local artists coming up, and just artists period, a lot of them still don't understand that. Like, they don't know how to do those things, and they're kind of just throwing stuff together, and that's why we have all these people throwing out these singles, throwing out like all these club songs and stuff, but they don't make sense. So
yeah, and I don't knock that too. They're just doing, like, they just trying stuff, seeing what sticks to the wall. And I there's a period of that where I had to do that, but I just wasn't putting stuff out. I would, like, what I would do for years up until like literally like last year, I would record a bunch of stuff, and because I was on tour with, I had traveled with Nelly, I had traveled with my management in Atlanta, TK and Cash and all that. I met a lot of people. Like, so we would do promoting their singles. We would go to like Power 105, like the Breakfast Club.
I saw that picture.
Yeah, like, well, we would do a lot of promo, so I would meet people, Sirius Satellite. So I would record stuff and send it to them, be like, what do y'all think? I wouldn't put stuff out because I'm just like, I don't want it to be whack, or maybe I cared too much about what people thought, but I would just send it to the people that I knew opinions mattered, you know?
Yeah.
And if it was a hit and they said go, I knew they would put it out on their platforms or whatever. And if it wasn't, they'd be like, oh, I like this, but you need this or whatever. So I just kind of, I was able to develop under the radar. I don't think it was my journey to just keep putting tons and tons of stuff out. And I think that's what a lot of people do, and it works for them.
Yeah.
Just my specific story has been to develop, stay in that lab. I've never had a period where I wasn't recording. I have tons of stuff and people will be like, you ain't put out nothing in 5 years. And I'm like, yeah, I record it and I kind of shop it to one, see if I can make money off of it. Because I'm going to do that first. And two, be like, if I think I have a single, send it to the people at the radio station. You know them now. And see what they say.
I would say that reminds me of, like, you know, Future. He dropped all that music at once. Like, I feel like that's something you would just randomly do. You're like, I got all these
yeah, because it builds up. It builds up, and then, like, no one sees it coming. And I love that. I love when no one sees nothing coming.
And I said people don't realize too, actual serious artists tend to be in the recording studio all the time making music. Whether or not, like you said, you don't drop anything, like, or you pick what you drop. I know a bunch of people that just go and they record and they just put it up. For what reason? I don't know, that's up to them, but I've heard those stories before.
It might work for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what works for other people, and if something works for you, I'm not the one to be like, you shouldn't do it like that, because a lot of successes happen from people just dropping stuff.
And another thing I like about you, you only focus on yourself. Like, I love that, because a lot of people are so in tune with what's going on with everything, and they forget, like, who they are and what they're trying to, you know, fulfill.
I went through that too. I ain't better than that. Like, I went through that, like, where, you know, I'm coming from St. Louis, and then I have a situation, a management situation or a label situation in Atlanta or LA. And then you come from St. Louis, which is you can be a big fish in a small pond here because you're under Nelly or whatever. And then you go to Atlanta, don't nobody care about that.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's doing their thing. So you got to find your way to stick out in a whole new thing. Or you can go to LA and no one cares about none of that St. Louis stuff. Like, so Nelly, no one cares, you know? I mean, people know Nelly and respect Nelly, but
they be like,
they don't care that you were signed to Nelly or you were under Nelly. So you got to develop a way to, like, be confident in yourself and not gravitate to what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about new music that you have, but at first, like, let's talk about the significance of, you know, the industry in St. Louis compared to the other cities. Like, what makes it different in a good way?
Well, I like St. Louis, our location. I think because, you know, I went to school, I have a history degree, I went to school for history, right? So the geographic situation of St. Louis being on the gateway to the west, like, a lot of stuff has had to come through here.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's shocking that a lot of people will be like, oh, well, like, Tina Turner had to come through, or is not from here, but, like, got her start from here. Chuck Berry, like the father of all this rock and roll and urban music, whatever, had to come through St. Louis. And so I think people kind of sleep on the significance of and the history of St. Louis. Not just musically, but just period. Like, fourth city status, as like we were only the fourth, but as far as, like, significance, behind New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and then it was St. Louis for a long time.
I say, you know your facts too.
Yeah, I mean,
even tell them.
I mean, but we used to be the fourth most poppin' city. I mean, it was literally like over 100 years ago. But I mean, there was a time where just everything kind of had to go through here.
Yeah.
And I think that has kind of been the root of our uniqueness, and the people that come through here and the people who come up with their life stories through here.
Yeah.
There's a very rich musical history here. But when you're thinking in terms of, like, hip hop, you'll be like, oh, just Nelly and maybe Chingy and, you know, Jibbs, Jaquan, Huey.
You know, like Smino.
And Smino. And that's like where Smino sound, like, Smino is a sound that is just it's so St. Louis to me. It's like so it's musical, like the musical part, like jazzy kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I say jazzy, but it's like, it's not
I get
coming
what
out
you're
of,
saying,
it's
though.
very Midwest. You know what I mean? It's not a sound you're going to hear out of LA like that. You know what I mean? Or
you
New York.
seen him in the show, right? At one of his shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
the pageant one.
yeah.
Where Mo popped up.
Like he did like amazing. Cause I went to his last show here, and like he literally like he is very talented.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, music, like that's a deep musical root. That ain't just some rapping. That's a musically inclined dude. And Mo and Nelly is like that. He has a very musical air. You think you just you know, but it's very musical. Like I said, when he taught me how to stack and do harmonies and stuff, that's not just you being a rapper.
Yeah.
That's you having an ear. So
actually know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I don't. It's Midwest. Like I know people be like, especially when I like shot my new stuff, you got a little twang. I'm like, that's all I got. I mean, that's where I'm from. It is specific. And when you start talking about like, I listen to like guys in Atlanta like Lil Baby or what's the Don Toliver or
Don Toliver, yep.
Just they'll put little, or even Thug, like they'll put little country twangs on some of their melodies and stuff. So I think it's a good time for St. Louis artists if you want it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do it, because that kind of country twang is coming back melodically. So if you can do that and you can actually say something and it can resonate with people, and then you can get it to a point where people want to yell that out in a concert, I think you found the formula.
I say right now is your time because you just dropped a new single.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, yeah, I put out, like I said, I was shopping some records, and I guess it made its way to these guys in New York called War Room Music Group. And I was like, we're interested in this song that I actually recorded with Nelly, and we ended up we recorded that in the same studio that it was a song called Chainsmoke, and I recorded that, and it's the same studio that Pharrell and Mo made Hot in Here. I remember that being a thing, and we ended up actually not going with that song. So for a whole year we signed the deal for that song, and then after COVID we want to make they wanted to take it in another direction. We ended up with a song called Gotta Eat.
Okay.
So I think when you get to them verses in that song, you'll hear that twang that I'm talking about. Yeah, and that's kind of that is the sound that I want to go forward with. Yeah, that's where I'm comfortable at. I think that song epitomizes where I am, where I'm saying something, but it is a little melodic, and it does have my Missouri twang. Like that's where I'm from, it's where I went to school, it's where I grew up. Very Missouri. I've traveled a lot since then, so I've picked up stuff from every place that I've lived since then doing this music journey. But yeah, I think it epitomizes where I'm at and where I want to go from here on.
Well, I'm excited. Like what now, saying where are you going from now on? What are some things that you are working on currently or looking forward to working on in the near future?
I'm still trying to sell hits.
Okay.
I'm still trying to sell my music, I'm still very much a songwriter, and I want to be a part of major records. You know, I really, that's kind of how this song ended up in there. I'm shopping songs.
Yeah.
But I just want to be a part of making great records. Sometimes that's just being a songwriter. Sometimes you might be the artist.
Yeah.
So however that manifests, that's what I want to do. Whatever I can do to make sure I'm being a part of putting out great content that I can be proud of 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. Timeless stuff, or maybe something that just epitomizes the moment. And I can look back and be like, that was a moment.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
I love that answer. I love that you didn't say, I can't wait to be on all these billboards and all this.
As long as I can eat, I can make money from doing what I love. Like literally, that's how this has ended up for me. Is like, I haven't had to work a 9 to 5 since I was 19. You know, and sometimes it's struggling. You know,
nice,
sometimes you're in between. You're like, okay, I only made $500 in like 3 months. Sometimes you'll go through that. And sometimes something big happens and you got 10 grand, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. But as long as I can eat doing what I love to do, that's success for me. And as long as my credit's good, and, you know, like, and I can have what I want, and I have space to grow in that, I feel great. But like I said, of course, I want to make hits. It's really that simple for me. I want to make hits, and I could make hits as a songwriter or as an artist. However it's gonna happen, that's what I want to do. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, that's as simple as I could put it. I want to make hit records.
Now, before we wrap up, I got my Close the Ray jar right here.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull out 3 questions. Okay. You can pull out one.
All right. Just
one at a time.
All at a,
you can do one at a time.
Okay.
Random questions.
Here we go. Go ahead and read it.
Yep. Read it out loud.
What used to be considered trashy, but now is very classy. Like, just generally? Like,
yeah, super random. Whatever you think.
Used to be considered trashy. Being a whore? That's in right now. It's just making, like, okay, OnlyFans and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, I know.
I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Like,
give me my paper back.
That's a very lucrative business. It always have, but now, I mean, people are
That's
really
true,
pimping.
though. OnlyFans has really, like, and it's funny because OnlyFans isn't only for that, but people have created it into a thing where you got an OnlyFans account. Because I know people that do, like, bodybuilding stuff like that, and they do it for that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like you said. Next question, please.
Let me get in here. That top one. All right. What inanimate object do you wish you could eliminate from existence? I feel like something that, like, makes me like ugh. Like there's like this phobia called, it's like from where it's, I don't know, it's a really long name, but it's like from seeing like odd patterns and odd shapes like that.
Ooh. Like those creepy, like, I know what
anything
you're talking
like
about.
that. Anything like that with like little holes and weird patterns and like that would be it.
They
anything
got those
like
stupid videos on like Twitter and stuff. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Anything weird and nasty like that, I definitely can all go.
I can't even find answers to my own questions I got in these jars. Go ahead, pull that last question out.
All right, number 3. Okay. What movie would be greatly improved if it was made into a musical?
A hard question. I don't know none of the answers for myself.
Scarface? Oh, Scarface could be made into a musical.
That would be interesting. That'd be a gory musical.
Yeah, but it's a big theatrical music, like lots of guns or something. You know what I mean? I feel like it would, and it's a classic.
I could picture that in like opera.
Yeah, it would be very grand and
give you nightmares.
Yeah,
they give me nightmares.
It can make some hard.
I said you got some good answers.
But like rappers always are making like Scarface themed.
Yeah.
So there could be like a rap Scarface musical or something like hip hop version.
You should make that. Yeah. I'm just playing.
I would not do that. I would not have time. But yeah, that would be one.
Oh man. Well, Trixie Le'Ray, let everybody know where they can find all your music, more information about you.
Well, everything is at Trixie. All my social media is at Trixie Le'Ray. So Trixie Le'Ray YouTube, Trixie Le'Ray Facebook, Trixie Le'Ray SoundCloud, Trixie Le'Ray Instagram, Twitter, all that. And like I said, if you go on Spotify and Apple Music, it's not a lot of music on there, but the project that I am working on, everything will be on all streaming platforms. So. But the new single "Gotta Eat" is on all streaming platforms. So yeah, you can find that there. Trixie Le'Ray, "Gotta Eat."
And I'm Moni XO, and we are out. Be easy. It's your girl Moni XO, and you just finished a 94XO interview. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media platforms. Be easy.